The air felt strangely still, almost peaceful, as the group emerged from the underground cellar. The carnival lay silent, no longer burdened by the oppressive weight of the curse. The once ominous shadows had receded, leaving only the decaying remnants of a long, forgotten place. Emma, Jake, Sophie, and Tom stood together at the carnival's edge, catching their breath. Everything was so quiet, too quiet. "We did it," Emma murmured, staring at the ruins of the attractions. Her voice was laced with disbelief. "It's finally over." Tom wiped the sweat from his brow, his hands still trembling from the ritual. "I can't believe we made it out. I thought we were dead for sure." Sophie leaned against a rusted booth, her legs barely holding her up. "I still feel like, I don't know, like it's not real." Jake stood off to the side, silent, running his hand through his hair. He hadn't spoken much since they left the heart of the darkness, and the weight of the night still hung over him. He glanced back toward the carnival, his eyes narrowing. Emma noticed and stepped closer. "You okay?" Jake hesitated before nodding. "Yeah, just processing." The group slowly made their way through the carnival grounds, the once ominous attractions now reduced to mere remnants of their former selves. The Ferris wheel stood still, its cabins swaying gently in the breeze, and the tattered banners flapped weakly in the wind. As they reached the rusted gates, Sophie stopped, turning to take one last look at the place that had nearly claimed their lives. "I don't think I'll ever forget this," she whispered. "What we saw, what we did." Emma's gaze softened. "We saved ourselves, and we saved him too, in a way." Tom, always the one to break the silence, let out a nervous laugh. "I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm done with carnivals for the rest of my life." Emma gave a weak smile. "Yeah, I think we all are." Later that night, the group split, and each of the friends went home. The weight of what they experienced lingered in different ways. Emma laid on her bed, staring at the ceiling for what seemed like hours. Unable to concentrate on anything, she looked over at her desk. Atop it laid the diary. Although she had been traumatized by this experience, she couldn't bring herself to leave it there. She wanted to tell the world its story. She flipped through the tattered pages, her mind racing with the memories of the night. She had saved them, but something still felt off. She couldn't shake the feeling that they'd perhaps missed something. Sophie lay in her room as well, clutching her lucky charm tightly in her hand. She had survived, barely, but the fear hadn't left her. The images of patches, the glowing symbols, and her near-death experience haunted her thoughts. She knew it would take time for the nightmares to fade, but she was grateful to still be alive. Tom sat at his desk, staring at the footage on his camera. The videos from their night in the carnival were warped and distorted. He played the clips over and over, trying to make sense of the impossible. He shook his head, letting out a sigh. No one's going to believe this. Jake, however, couldn't sleep. He stood in his bathroom, staring at his reflection in the mirror. He pressed his mind over and over to try and remember the lost time when he was taken by Patches. But his memory was blank. "Maybe a hot shower will get this night off of me," Jake said under his breath, and hopped in the shower. After a time, he creaked the knob to stop the water and began to towel off in front of the mirror. But as he did, something caught his eye. Something on the back of his arm. A symbol. Faint. Almost like a scar, but unmistakable. It was one of the symbols from the diary, etched into his skin. His breath caught in his throat, a chill running down his spine. He touched it, his heart pounding in his chest. It wasn't just a mark, it was real. As his fingers made contact with the symbol, Memories came flooding back into his mind. Patches carved that symbol into him before shoving him in that glass box amidst the mirror maze. His breath hitched, and overwhelming anxiety gnawed at him. He blinked, hoping the symbol would disappear, but it didn't. The lines of the symbol seemed to pulse under his skin, faint but undeniable. Jake touched it, his fingers trembling. Suddenly, the faint sound of carnival music began playing in the distance. His heart raced. He turned toward the window, eyes wide, scanning the quiet street below. Everything seemed normal. No lights, no movement, just the empty night. But the music continued, soft, echoing like it was coming from somewhere far away, yet close enough to make his skin crawl. Jake leaned closer to the window, trying to make sense of it. His breath fogged the glass as he squinted, looking for any sign of movement in the darkness. Nothing. He let out a shaky breath and turned back toward the mirror. Bang! A pair of hands slammed against the glass in front of him, pressing from the other side of the mirror. A twisted face, Patch's face, grinned at him through the reflection, his dead eyes locked on Jake's. Jake stumbled back in terror, gasping as the lights flickered. He blinked, and the mirror was empty. The bathroom was silent once again, but the faint hum of carnival music still lingered in the air.